Welcome. It's your man, God of Dots, back with another episode of The Audible. Thank you for joining me this evening. Yes, Miss Murphy, I know kickoff's in 14 minutes, but I had to do, had to push back the time some, had to do some family stuff. Had to do some family stuff, so I had to push it back just a little bit. I just missed, maybe the first part of the first quarter. I'll be good. I'll be good. How you doing, Dr. Nikki? Welcome. Yes. Let's not gonna waste too much of your time tonight because the boys are playing and I gotta be in attendance. But let me go ahead and give you my breakdown of the upcoming week of NFL games. A lot of big games on the schedule for this week. Probably none bigger than Philadelphia, San Francisco, but it is a big game tonight. We're gonna start with the Thursday night game. Typically, my history of predictions, I always typically go with the road team, um, to lose, especially on a short week. But this is a big game when we're talking about Cowboys and Seahawks. Seahawks, who I think will be one of those teams making it into the playoffs, coming off of a very embarrassing loss against the San Francisco 49ers this past Sunday. Of course, Cowboys played on Thanksgiving, took care of business against Washington Commanders, come in well rested, more rested. Just by a couple of hours, I forgot Seattle wasn't Sunday. That was Thursday. Yeah, that was Thursday. I'm sorry. So both teams come in with the same amount of rest time. But I got boys. Of course, I'm going boys tonight. Who else am I going to go for in this matchup? But this is a very key matchup. I don't look at this as a trap game. A lot of people have not been keeping tabs on Seattle, have not been watching Seattle. Hey, it's not a marquee team, not really a marquee market, and they don't really have any you know household name players. There is some good players on Seattle. I will give credit where credit is due. Geno Smith has kind of turned his season around after kind of a rough, patchy start at the beginning of the season. You do have DK Metcalf, you do have Tyler Lockett. The running game, can be kind of hit or miss. The defense, with the exception of the last game against the 49ers, has been playing pretty well, all things considered. But I think this is a bad matchup for Seattle. Dallas is at home, where Dallas has been dominating teams thus far this season. Dak is in a groove. This defense is in a groove. I expect Dallas to generate a lot of pressure on Geno tonight. I think Geno's going to make some mistakes. And I got the boys by a touchdown. Seattle, like I said, Seattle is a good team. I do see Seattle, excuse me, making it into the playoffs. But I think the Cowboys are not looking ahead to next week when we get our much awaited rematch against the Philadelphia Eagles. But take care of business tonight. Makes the matchup next week even much more than it could be. Cowboys lose tonight, unless Philadelphia falls off a cliff. I think to stay in the division race, we got to win tonight. This is a must-win game for the Cowboys. Like I said, I don't think they're overlooking Seattle. They know how good Seattle is, but I expect the boys to take care of business tonight. I think the boys win by 7. I think Dak has a pretty good game. I think the defense is able to generate pressure on Geno and cause some turnovers. What's going on, Spottum? No, Miss Murph. I don't think it's going to be a trap game. Like I said, if this had been, let's say, like the Tennessee Titans or somebody like that of that ilk rolling in, maybe you can look at this as a trap game. Maybe the Cowboys would have been, possibly looking ahead. But Seattle is a very good team. Um, and the division, the seeding is not wrapped up at this point. This is not a game you want to lose. You lose this game, you're right back in the pack to a degree with Seattle. And when we're talking about the wild card race, you lose this game, gives Philadelphia even more of an edge going into the matchup next week. So no, I don't believe this is going to be a trap game. Like I said, I know how good Seattle is. I know how well this team can play. I've seen it. I've been watching them. I'm not overlooking the Seahawks, and I don't think the Cowboys are either. I think they coming in laser focused. With I said you're peaking. I'm gonna lie. Yeah, you got to be peaking to next week's game. You're going to be peaking to the big game between the 49ers and the Eagles. You're going to be peaking, but I don't think This team is going to allow Seattle wins. They've earned it. I'm not going to make any excuses saying, "Oh yeah, we thought it was a trap game. We let our guard down." No, I don't think you let your guard down against the Seattle. Now, if this has been like a Tennessee Titans rolling in or Carolina Panthers, maybe I might say that's a trap game. But no, I don't think this is a trap game at all. What's going on, Tricks? Let's see what else we got. Oh, yeah. So of course I got the boys tonight. Kickoff is at 8:15. A little bit of housekeeping. I will be doing a Freestyle Friday show tomorrow over here, probably about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And of course, I'll be, doing my thing on the other side. But yeah, I will be doing a Freestyle Friday show tomorrow. Want to kind of break down some of the stories we've done on previous Freestyle Fridays. I got an update on the Angel Reese situation in regards to LSU. I want to look at some of the commentary that I've been seeing in social media spaces in regards to Dak Prescott, and I want to kind of break down the Malika Andrews. Has been a real big thing on social media as far as her lack of commentary when it comes to the Josh Giddey situation. We will have an update on that. So yes, make sure you come in tomorrow. Like I said, we'll be doing a Freestyle Friday tomorrow, and of course, I'll be doing my thing. Of course, on the other side over there. But back into the NFL action. I don't want to bore you with logistics and programming and all that good stuff. You got Colts Titans 1 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. I'm gonna admit this. I've been kind of sleeping on the Colts to a degree this season, especially since Anthony Richardson went out for the year with an injury. This team is quietly kind of played themselves back into the AFC playoff picture. I don't necessarily like the team. I don't think, even if they make the playoffs, I don't think this team is going to do any damage. They look like a one and done type team, but hey, crazier things have happened in the NFL. But they got a matchup on the road against Tennessee. Tennessee, who I thought was going to kind of pick it up with Will Levis was appointed the starting quarterback. It just has not clicked all the way. This let's call it what it is. Tennessee is not a very good team, and the roster is kind of structured a weird kind of way. If I'm the Colts, this might be one of what you call a trap game. I know the Colts have been rolling, have a winning record. Like I said, they're in the hunt for a playoff spot. I don't think you can overlook any team in the AFC, especially how kind of bunched up it is in regards to teams vying for playoff positioning. So I expect the Colts to come out here. I think it'll be a very good game. Division games are always good. But I got the Colts. I got the Colts winning by a field goal against Tennessee. I just don't think Tennessee is where they need to be at. I think, Tennessee's kind of in the mode right now. Hey, you're pretty much out of the playoff race. Play the young guys, see what you have. On a side note, I thought they should have traded Derrick Henry at the trade deadline, got what you could for him. I think his value kind of goes down when we get to the offseason. I think you could have got maybe a fourth, maybe fifth round pick for Derrick Henry at the deadline. And Tennessee is a team that is in desperate need of draft picks, is in desperate need of young talent. I expect the roster to be vastly different next season. But as far as this season is concerned, I got Colts by 3 on the road in Tennessee. Another game that has some has some possible playoff implications down the road, and I'm talking about Falcons and Jets. Falcons right now leading the division in the NFC South, but it's not really anything to brag about. The division as a whole has been kind of up and down, wishy-washy. I think Desmond Ridder is the starting quarterback, and I know I've been saying it all season. If Desmond Ridder is the starting quarterback, I'll pick against him. I'm going to continue that trend against my better judgment. The Jets are in a tailspin right now, but maybe some good news coming. Maybe some good news coming for Jets fans. It's been reported that Aaron Rodgers has returned back to practice. The team is tentatively looking at him, depending on how the season kind of shakes out over the next couple of weeks. He may be back by the Christmas game. I don't know. If I'm the Jets, I think this season is kind of a wash. If they don't win, especially if they don't win this Sunday, that puts them further below 500. And like I said, the AFC is so stacked at the top. When we're talking about Baltimore, we're talking about KC, talking about Miami, you're talking about Buffalo, you're talking about Pittsburgh, you're talking about Cleveland still in the mix. Cincinnati still has an outside chance. I mean, it's kind of top heavy in the AFC right now. I'm not even talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Houston Texans have a winning record. Colts have a winning record. So I got the Jets winning. I got the Jets in kind of a bit of a surprise. Now I do like how Atlanta has looked over the last couple of weeks. Get the ball into your hands of your playmakers. Getting the ball into the hands of Kyle Pitts. Bijan Robinson has become more involved in the offense. But like I said, I'm gonna stick to it. Any team that started Desmond Ridder at quarterback, I can't pick them. I've seen enough to make that assessment of the Falcons. But Falcons right now are currently the favorites, but I think the Jets will be able to kind of keep them bottled up. I think the offense will make just enough play. And something tells me about this game, special teams is going to be very big in this game. I got a gut feeling. A block field goal, a punt return, kickoff return is going to be the difference between winning and the losing. But I got Jets at home. I said I can't ride with Ridder, man. I just can't. I can't. Another sneaky big game also on the schedule with a 1 o'clock kickoff. You got Detroit and New Orleans. Detroit, I've been very high on them, especially over the past 2 seasons. Coming in with one of the better records in the NFC, but have not looked right. Kind of winning despite defense is kind of taking a step back. Offense has started to turn the ball over. You saw them on Thanksgiving. Losing to the Green Bay Packers, made Jordan Love look very, 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 very good. Doesn't look like a first-year starting quarterback when he was playing against Detroit. And this is a Saints team that still has an outside chance to possibly win the division, so they have something to fight for. I don't like the Saints. I think that Detroit takes care of business in this one, but Detroit, I hope you guys are not overlooking the Saints. Despite their record, still have a pretty good defense. Offense can be cooking in some spots. And like I said, this is a game you got to kind of right the ship. Get back to the fundamentals that you displayed early in the season when you were one of top tier in the NFC. Still think you're top tier. Now, this is based on your record, but a loss against the Saints, I got to take you out of that tier. But I think Detroit takes care of business on the road in New Orleans, and they kind of get the ship back right. I think they should get the ship back right, get back to playing good, sound football. Defense kind of gets after the quarterback there in New Orleans, and I got Detroit. Taking that one. Also, 1 o'clock. Like I said, this is a lot of big games. Maybe not big as far as Philadelphia and San Francisco. And we'll talk about them to kind of close out the show. But you got Broncos and Texas, both teams who I think are trending up. Texas coming off a very tough loss against the Jaguars, last second field goal. Broncos have quietly turned their season around, have a winning record. It's one of those teams, like I was saying, that's in a very thick race as far as the AFC is concerned. Defense have kind of stepped up and been the defense I thought they were going to be throughout the duration of the season. They're making plays, and Russ is starting to look like Seattle Russ. And if he continues to look like Seattle Russ, the Broncos may be a problem if they can get into the playoffs. The Broncos may be a problem. They have a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Have a head coach who's won a Super Bowl. Have a very, 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 very good defense. Watch out for the Broncos. With that being said, Texans, have been, look good through the most part of the season, but for whatever reason, I like how the Broncos have been playing. I think they've been playing just a little bit better over the last couple of weeks. And for that reason, I got them winning on the road in Houston. CJ Stroud right now has had my vote for Offensive Rookie of the Year, but has started to turn the ball over a little bit too much. Has started to do a little bit more that's required of him. And For that reason, I think the Broncos defense is able to kind of take advantage, maybe force a turnover or two on CJ Stroud. He's been gambling a lot the last couple of weeks. He's been turning the ball over at a particularly higher rate than he was at the beginning of the season. And for that reason, I got the Broncos on the road against the Texans. One of those trash games, the NFL is this, I feel sorry for people who have to watch this game in their market. And I'm talking about Chargers and Patriots. Patriots clearly got their eyes on the draft, got their eyes on a possible head coaching change at the end of the season. Same thing with the Chargers, have their eyes on a possible head coaching change. When you look at the Chargers, but this has got to be one of the most disappointing teams in regards to what their record looks like and how they played throughout the course of the season. When you have what some consider to be a top 10, top 5 quarterback in terms of talent in Justin Herbert, you have quality receivers. You have Austin Eckler, who's been one of the better quality backs, all-around backs in the NFL over the past couple of seasons. When you have some of the pieces that they have on the defensive side of the ball, no way this team should be having a losing record at this point of the season. But hey, you are what your record says you are, especially at this point of the season. We're talking week 13 of the NFL season. I got Chargers over the Patriots, but that's not saying much, and I'm not going to spend too much time breaking this down. Mac Jones, the over under, can he make it through the whole game without being benched? Who knows? I mean, nobody has a clue. Now I think nobody has a clue what they're doing up there in New England, and that includes Bill Belichick. I don't know. This team has kind of no direction. They're rudderless. And I'm done talking about them. Chargers on the road in New England, take care of business. Steelers and Cardinals. This may be a bit what you call a trap game. I've liked the way the Cardinals have kind of competed throughout the course of the season. They're just a team that just doesn't have the talent. Pittsburgh's offense finally came alive. Finally, first time in about a year and a half that they have 400 yards of offense. It's got the markings of a trap game. If I ever saw one. Like I said, the Cardinals, their problem is not that they don't play hard. Is they play competitive. They lay it all out there. Just a team that doesn't have a talent. And can Pittsburgh, repeat the performance that they have last week offensively? I don't know. I don't know. I've only seen it one time this season that the offenses look good, and it wasn't like they was putting up a lot of points in their last game. Put up a lot of yards, but 400 yards of total offense in the NFL, that's kind of like the norm. And for them, it was kind of like the aberration. So some says to me, my spirit, that Kyler Murray and boys still won in Pittsburgh. And I don't think Pittsburgh is in a position where they can afford to, be losing games. Like I said, it's so jam-packed at the top of that AFC. One win, one loss. You could be out of the playoff picture. Because it's so hotly contested in the AFC. I got Cardinals. And y'all know I've been big on the Steelers, especially over the last couple of seasons. They've been my dark horse team, but this got the markings for me of a trap game. This got the markings of me of a trap game. Yes, I'm encouraged by Pittsburgh finally putting up some yards, but it wasn't like they put up a lot of points. Especially playing against a Cincinnati team with no Joe Burrow. You was only able to put up 16. I got Cardinals in the upset. Probably my upset of the week, considering what the records are and what the teams are at this point of the season. Also, with the 1 o'clock, wrapping up on the 1 o'clock kickoffs, you have Dolphins and Commanders. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this one. Dolphins are quietly, still in the hunt for a number 1 seed in the AFC. So much attention is paid to the offense, but the storylines around the NFL have not been focused on the Dolphins. They've been kind of quietly up under the radar, not been making a lot of noise, especially since early in the season. People have kind of like tuned them out when we're talking about best team in the AFC is either Ravens, the Chiefs. Nobody's kind of talking about the Dolphins in that conversation, and I think they should. This offense has been humming along. for the better part of the season. The defense has, been kind of hit or miss, depending on the game. But I think this is a game they take care of business. I don't think the Commanders are going to be laying down, but for them, and I questioned this at the trade deadline when they got rid of Sweat and Chase Young. Why would you get rid of your the guys that your pass rushers? I get moving one. But you have seen this defense is kind of like fall off a cliff since the trade deadline, since they moved those players, not able to get any outside pressure, and that allows teams to really focus in up the middle when we're talking about defending those brilliant defensive tackles that they have there in Washington. When you can just focus your attention on them guys and not really worry about outside pressure, you see the difference in Washington's defense. Washington, in my opinion, should have kept those guys. Whether they walked in the offseason or not is irrelevant. You had a chance, and what has been a very down year in the NFC, you had an opportunity to kind of keep those players around, and you may be in a conversation for maybe a wild card spot. But at this point, I don't see it happening. The Dolphins take care of business on the road. I think they've been double digits over the Commanders. I think the offense for Dolphins is just too good. And when you're not able to generate any pass rush, you allow Tua to kind of sit back there and pick you apart with them receivers and that talent that they have. It's going to be a long day for Washington. Looking at the 4:00 game, Panthers Bucks, not really must see TV for me. Panthers, I don't know what the future holds for this team. Last week got rid of the head coach and some other coordinators. I'm not sure what to make of the future for Carolina, and I'm really not sure what I'm getting from Tampa Bay. This NFC South, with the exception of Carolina, has been kind of up, down. One team looks like the best team that week in that division. For a stretch there, Tampa Bay was on top of the division. For a stretch, New Orleans was on top of the division. Now it's Atlanta, but none of these teams really inspire confidence if they make it into the playoffs. For me, this game's kind of a wash. I think Tampa Bay takes care of business at home against a very bad Carolina team. I think Mayfield has a decent enough game to kind of get them over the hump. Like I said, this is not really must see TV. Also with the 4:00, you got Browns Rams. This got markers of a trap game for Cleveland. Cleveland has been riding the defense, riding the running game to a winning record thus far this season, but the offense, it look kind of sketchy last game. And the Rams, they're playing better than a lot of people thought they would. When you look at the talent on the roster, I didn't think they'd be playing as well as they are. Coming off a very big win this past week, blowing who they blew out. Let me go look real quick. Yeah, blew out the Cardinals 37-14, smoked them. Matthew Stafford is kind of got it going. Puka Nacua is very surprising as a rookie wide receiver. Another trap game for me, and I picked the Cardinals over the Steelers. As far as like my upset of the week, I don't think Cleveland's going to be able to score enough points. The Rams have been quietly a good team. I know they've looked bad in certain games when the talent gap is great between them and their opponent, but Rams at home, Cleveland offense, I'm not sure if they're starting DTR at quarterback or PJ Walker. Deshaun Watson. I got Rams. I got Rams, and I wouldn't really call this like an upset. When you kind of like look at how the teams have been playing over the past couple of weeks, it's not really an upset. Cleveland is kind of struggled, even with Deshaun Watson in the lineup. It's been kind of a struggle for them to put up points consistently. I think if Cleveland has any chance of winning this Sunday, you got to lean heavy on the run game. Keep Matthew Stafford off of the field, because if you try to turn this into a shootout going up and down the field, not able to sustain drives and dominate time of possession, I got Rams. I got Rams in this one. I think Matthew Stafford makes just enough plays to kind of push them over the top of the Browns. And the Browns, like I said, the AFC, you really can't be afforded to lose ground, because a game here, a game there, and You're on the outside looking in regards to the playoffs. So, yeah, I got Rams. I got Rams. Um, you got Chiefs, Packers, the Sunday night game. Chiefs coming back off of that bad loss against the Philadelphia refs. Excuse me, the Philadelphia Eagles. Chiefs coming back, take care of business last week. The Packers, coming in with a bit of a win streak. Jordan Love has been playing well. This might be a surprisingly good game. This might be a surprisingly good game. Packers are at home. Chiefs going on the road. Chiefs have not looked as dominant. But that could be said about a lot of teams in the NFL this year. There's big the gap, disparity gap is very, very, very small. This NFL season, no team has really looked like that's the team to beat to me. They've looked like it. Yeah, every team has kind of like had their turn where they look like that. But I'm surprised that Kansas City at this point of the season has not really flipped the switch, got it in the gear, and playing championship level of football. They just haven't. But with that being said, I got Chiefs. I got Chiefs on the road against the Packers. I think it'll be a very good game. I think it'll be a very entertaining game. I think Jordan Love, making competitive, but I think Patrick Mahomes in that offense makes just enough plays to kind of pull it out. You have the Monday game. I would have looked forward to this with a Joe Burrow. We're talking about Cincinnati and Jacksonville. Jacksonville is at home, so Joe Burrow. I don't think Cincinnati. They may have an outside chance, but I don't think they're in a position to be competing with the Jaguars in this one. And y'all know how I feel about the Jags. Up down with me, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They may come out here and lay a complete egg. Who the hell knows? But I got Jacksonville at home. It's like one of the first Monday night games they've had in a minute. I haven't seen the Jags on Monday night in a minute. So, this would be a good look for them. Allow the rest of the football world to kind of see them, exclusively on a Monday night game. But I think Jacksonville takes care of business at home. I think Trevor Lawrence has a pretty good game. I think ETN kind of gets it going, and the defense they're going to get after the backup quarterback. They're going to get after him. Jacksonville has been one of the better teams as far as creating pressure, creating turnovers throughout the season. The defense has played well, but I think they take care of business at home against Cincinnati. And now the game of the week. 49ers and Eagles. NFC championship rematch. Hold on, y'all. We're here. Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up. 49ers coming in looking very good since their 3-game losing streak have gone back to playing very dominant football. Not just good, clean football, very dominant football. And of course, Philadelphia hanging on for dear life over the court, pretty much the course of the season, but especially over the last 4 weeks, been down. I'm in the second half, make plays. I'm not going to sit up here and complain about the refs. I did that on Tuesday. But the nation will be watching. It's been a lot of talk back and forth between these teams as far as what happened in the NFC Championship. Like 49ers went out there, both quarterbacks kind of get hurt, and bad enough when you have a backup plan, but when the backup gets hurt and the guy that has a jacked up arm has to kind of go out there and finish. I mean, it was done before the word go. 49ers, I know they had this game circled on their calendar. Eagles coming in, best record in the NFL. Will they be able to hold it? They are at home. Like I said, 49ers are looking forward to this. 49ers are looking real good. And I don't think either team is going to be taking this game lightly. When I think, honestly, I think 49ers are going to win. Just for the simple fact the Eagles have been kind of hanging on for dear life, and I think the 49ers are going to come in with a point to prove. I think it's going to be a very good game, very hard hitting game. Jalen Hurts, I think 49ers are going to be able to kind of generate a little bit of pressure on him. But I think this is going to be, probably the game is the game of the week, not just because of, the quality of the teams, but, when we're talking about NFC superiority. If the Eagles are able to win against the 49ers, that means you've beaten the Cowboys, you mean you've beaten the 49ers. I don't think it's any debate. You won't hear it from me anyway. There's any debate about the Eagles being the best team in the NFC, because if you beat the 49ers, you beat the Cowboys. What else is there left to say? You'll have clearly the best record, not only in the NFC but in the NFL. I think Philadelphia they're here to chatter. They're here to chatter. There's pro players. They they hear what's going on. But I got 49ers. I got 49ers on the road. Very, very good game. I think it comes down to, for me, I think this game comes down to who has the ball last. Who has the ball last? I expect 49ers to play well. I expect the Eagles to play better. Like I said, both teams are hyped up for this game. You would think the Eagles are playing the Cowboys about how much chirping I'm seeing in the media, but hey, I'm here for it. I love it. I will be tuned in, popcorn in hand, but I got 49ers. I got 49ers. And this is what I know, Miss Merv, you're going to ride with your Eagles. There's nothing wrong with that. And if the Eagles win, hey, you get your congratulations. You get your pat on the back from me when we coming back here next week to reconvene. But I like how the 49ers have been playing since they, came back off the 3-game losing streak, came back off the bye, and have been smashing teams, have been taking care of business. That offense looks like they're focused, and they're locked in, and the defense is getting back to the level that they're playing. They started playing at the beginning of the season. This is must-see TV. But speaking of must-see TV, let me get my behind out here because I got to go watch them boys. As always, appreciate it. Remember, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow, Freestyle Friday. We'll be doing that show. And of course, I do the show in the other space. And I'm thinking about maybe doing a Sunday show. Y'all know my my docket is full of stuff. Of course, I got the Saturday show with the homie. Maybe doing a Sunday show. Maybe doing a Sunday show over there, talk a little politics, talk a little a little building and stuff like that. Y'all know how I do. But anyway, let me get my behind up out of here. Got to go watch them boys. And you offer the phrase that pays around here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.